Meh. Hello. I know you're not even going to interest yourself with this video, but you know that you're going to see in the self that which is not even self, and I will know that you're beyond the self when you see that I am absorbed by self, and the self is continuously absorbed in the self that cannot be escaped from. The only reason I sit before you now is to tell you how I lived when I were living in the world you now live in. I have the ideas of so many lodged inside this brain that I refer to as myself. When other things fall into the category of being and non-being, I wonder how one can pretend that nothing ever happens. And all that can be seen in nothing is that which has been made to pass in something. Of course you don't know what I mean, is all that I have to say. You gotta sit here and wonder about the dish that you served when you said that you loved yourself in that way but never gave in to another. And all the situations that never gave in to that way that had been so that you knew the hour, had already seen that the hour had passed and that we were the ones who had loved. And when we had loved we had already been that which was the love that had called us in, and that which we rejected was the love that had come to the love that never began to be love in the end. You said in the sense that I knew that we knew that you loved in the sense that I loved. The love that had come to the love that had loved was the love that had passed and the love that would come. The love that had changed was the change that had loved, and the love that had changed was the love that had changed. So don't get upset with the love when it changes. Just change to find love when the love is the change. And when you cannot let go of that which you've changed to be in the sense, you'll never know the change, because it's the change that has come and the change that has gone and the change that has passed that you never did see when it came and will come. I don't know what you mean. I have lost every day that I have gained, and I have gained every day that I have lost, in the sense that nothing ever existed, in the sense that it's already there and has never been and always will be, so that you can see. This is funny because I can actually go on forever and ever in that way and open the doorway to your mind. I know this is like circles and circles again. A parent, thank you. Pieces of disastrous notions of absolute love pertain to the exact sort of interest that pertains to this absolute moment known as nirvana. Nirvana obtains the constant consequence of that which has been maintained according to that which is law, according to that which is God. God exists in this state of nirvana around the constant known as powerful gestures. Powerful gestures live in the statement, I did, therefore I am. When I am becomes something of conceit, conceited be that normal instance of consistent prayer. Prayer apparently does not exist in the sense that it cannot be anything but that which has already passed and that which has already been. If you insist upon the culture of a man, you will find a man. If you find a man, you will know the better half of who that man is. When all things considered This is funny because I can actually go on forever and ever in that way and open the doorway to your mind and insist upon placing myself there, so that your self will contend with the self that insists upon being there above all selves, which is the self that I am intends to be. When you know that there is no self, you have found self, and when you find self, there is no self. How can I be self or escape self without a self, when self does pertain to that self which makes a self insistent upon self? I know this is like circles and circles again. I need not explain myself, as it were. What can we do about this self and that self that came from the self that is self right now? A future self exists only in the sense that your clinging to this self has a past maintained by a reason for self. When your obsession with no self obtains you in that sense that emptiness forgets what it cannot be, in the sense that all things are nirvana, then you know that nirvana does not exist. It cannot exist, and it has always been. will always be, and never comes again. So that when you see the difference between what I say and what is truly said by a true master, you will know that any master who claims to be a master is no master at all. For a master does serve, and yet a servant is not greater than his master, and yet I know has always been what gets in the way of a master who serves. So in that sense, we all know that nothing ever existed that has already existed and will always exist, so that when existence insists upon the absolute of that which has been pertained to, we will know the difference between us, won't we? Because all that we have is all that we were, in that sense that now that we have anything but what we are, there is the sense that you insist upon. Yeah. In the sense that cannot be, I have reason to believe in nothing more than a self that cannot see, hear, taste, touch, smell, or live as anything more than a self. You already have a courage to be you don't even... Hello.